Oh, let's not look at these. Let's not look at these kids. Morning, y'all. Very busy morning this morning, so you're going to come with me on my busy morning. Mrs. Barfield has phone things that need sorting out. Samsung's rubbish. We have special sign things that need framing. Special guests. And at some point we got to try not be too hot because it is still a scorcher today. Hello, lovely blue skies. I am very much enjoying it. So the answer to yesterday's question, obviously it's very mixed. Oh, I've got something in my eye. What major you want to win, I think depends on what it means to you. Obviously a lot of Americans would want the US Open, and I get that, and then lots of people want the Open. Me personally, I think I would want to win the Masters. It's just such a special looking, feeling event, even though it has its many issues. For me, that would be the one I would love to win. I think I'm wearing my happy hat now. Right, today's question. Right, Milo? Right, Orla? Right, Mrs. Barfield?
Yeah.
So, today's vlog's going to talk about the ridiculousness of some of the ideas that were being thrown around from my Epic Pro review. So we're just going to address some of the questions, the kind of recurring ones, just a little bit more. Let's go deeper into this rabbit hole. I think it's an interesting one. So how much is too much for a set of clubs? Because, well, go on, how much is too much? Down there, hit those comments, hit thumbs up button as well, and always remember to subscribe because you just get notifications and all that as long as you have that bell icon on. So how much is too much on a luxury good? You know, let's talk about this. Now I've just my camera's just there on my shirt, but it's awkward, isn't it?
Let's see, what?
It's a nice watch, isn't it? Oh, hello, George. Dig up. So let's start off by talking about these Epics, and then obviously you've got companies like PXG as well, going top end in price. I mean, any company that release clubs that are going to be that expensive are definitely going to get a kicking for doing it. I get that, I understand that. People are always going to resent that other people can afford more expensive stuff. Now, the idea that having the more expensive club makes the game less obtainable for people surely only stands up if they only make expensive clubs. And if you think about it, I mean, all golf clubs are expensive, but Callaway, not PXG, they're different, but you've got to remember they're trying to just maybe hit a different part of the market. They produce clubs at the price points that clubs are at. Now, I'm not saying clubs are expensive or cheap, that's a different discussion. I'm just talking about top end, this kind of top end idea, and this idea that maybe kind of stops people playing golf. And I think that's why I made the connection between the Rolex watch and my Apple Watch. The Rolex watch doesn't stop me telling the time. It doesn't stop me owning a watch. It makes me desire the more expensive watch because I quite like that feel of a Rolex on my wrist. But there's other people who Rolex doesn't mean anything to them. Like, they've got no respect for it. It doesn't mean anything. They don't care that it's an expensive watch. You know, they think it's gross that you'd spend that much money on a watch because they're not into those kind of luxury items. So I understand that comment. They're, you know, not growing the game, that kind of, where it comes from. I just really question its complete kind of logic. I think it's a crazy idea, because remember, I mean, watch my Wilson box set review. I've done videos on a box set, full set with bags, that cost probably £200, and I still enjoy golf and shot one over for 3 or 4 holes. Where people are getting this from, I don't know. I guess it's just that desire to think, it's that thing, isn't it, where they think that's more expensive, that must be better. I mean, I thought we were cleverer than that, I really did. Oh, not as expensive as Rolex. Can't be as good, I guess.
So the next point's raised. We're talking about ideas of trade-in values. Now, I'll just put this out there. I've never bought a piece of golf equipment ever thinking of a trade-in value. I've only ever bought golf equipment with the idea of a task-driven kind of goal. I want to improve my putting. I want my chipping to improve. Man, I want my chipping to improve. I want to hit my irons higher. They go too high. I want them to spin more, spin less. I mean, it's task related. And we'll lead on to that in a second when it comes to if these irons are worth the money or not. But if you're buying irons based on trade-in value, that's all fine and that's cool, but that's a very different argument, and there isn't many manufacturers who'll be building clubs for that reason, if any. That's not why they're building them. That's not what drives them. That's not what inspires them to produce products, to try and inspire them to get you to purchase their products. They're very task-focused driven companies, as well as, I mean, and the key word here is companies. They are companies, and they're trying to provide products for different markets, which is going to lead us on to the last point, I think. But the trade-in idea of buy these £2,000 or whatever, and then they're worth considerably less straight away. All golf clubs are going to fall into that bracket. Some hold their value slightly better than others, but if you're buying clubs on that idea, then looking at reviews is probably not really going to apply to you, because you're buying it under a criteria that no one really is going to seriously review under. The big question is, can we get better at golf? That's always the big question everyone wants. That's what I mean, if I could manufacture something that made you better at golf like that, you know, I'd be very wealthy. I'd charge a good amount for my lessons, much higher than most other people probably, even in the world to a certain extent, because I've worked for over 20 years learning my trade. I feel like I'm mastering it and mastered it. I feel like I can offer help that other people can't. I can look at the golf swing in ways I think many people are not, and making mistakes in the way they look at it. So I charge my service what I think I'm worth, and people come. In fact, they queue up to come. So I dictate my price by my market to a certain extent, as well as my qualifications, in my opinion. And I think companies are kind of thinking along the same lines. But we are going to talk about if these clubs are worth it or not. I'm not sure why we still have to talk about that, actually, because the review kind of made that very clear. But we will, because people were confused.
This is a Little production.
So the big question, are they worth it? Three out of three must be a good putter. Must have cost a lot of money. This cost me £20 from a member at a club I used to work at. It's a Ping Answer, and it's a very rare one. I won tournaments with this club. I've putted brilliantly with it. I've putted awful with it. Two out of three with that one. This one is much more expensive. So when it comes to if it's worth it or not, it's only worth it to the person who's buying them, or choosing to buy them or not. I'll give you a little example. I worked in London for 4 or 5 years, and you could spot a banker with a bonus a mile off. They would come in, they'd try whatever it was, the X14s, X12s at the time, and then there was also a Hawkeye out at the time, which was like double the price. So if the X22s were $599, these were £1,200. When you told the banker the price, they always wanted the Hawkeye, and I would explain to them, look, I think the X20, X14s, X12s, X20s or whatever, I think they're better for you. The way you launch the ball, the kind of action you put on it, I think they'll work better for you. No, I want the Hawkeyes. This guy had a brand new Rolex on, gonna set it again, which he just bought with his bonus, and he wanted the most expensive clubs, and I got that. I got why he wanted to turn up to his London club and feel like he had that expensive stuff. It wasn't what I would ever want to do, and all the clubs I've bought, I've never bought on price. I've never bought the most expensive version. I've bought the version that works for me best. I bought this £20 Ping putter because I watched people like Seve win the Open using a putter like this. It inspired me. It gave me a feeling, an idea of what I wanted to replicate. So if you want to watch if the clubs are worth it, and you can watch my PXG reviews and down to my Callaway Epic review as well, 2 examples of top end clubs, you'll see the numbers don't change. That's why I include numbers. It's not about numbers for me, that purchase. You've got to remember, this company and PXG, they're saying they're doing things that they can't do in the realms of their other clubs, and obviously you can choose to believe that or not, and that's cool, and I don't see any real performance gain for me. But at the end of the day, and like the message in all my videos, you've got to go and try them. Because the beauty with this, and the comment section shows this, I think it gets confused with a little bit of hatred from people who maybe, kind of like I said earlier, just resent people who can afford these things. Try and let it inspire you maybe to work harder or to do more. I can't afford a Rolex and I want one. It just inspires me to make more content, inspires me to try and make more money, become a bigger brand so I can charge more money for my services. It inspires me. It doesn't make me not like the brand or the people that produce or buy those products. And I also think it's a funny question in an era, still goes in, still only costs 20 quid. He's still pretty comfy on that beanbag. Well, I've shown enough numbers now to hopefully make you see how you're the biggest denominator here. You're the biggest influencer of those numbers, which is why, as when I started this 9 years ago, and my message is still the same now, you need to go and try them. You need to get fit for them. You always need to purchase within your budgets. If you're wasting your dollar on golf and you can't afford it, then don't watch these videos. Come on, sort yourselves out. It's that time. So post comments down below. Let me know. What do you think? I know most of you probably think they're not worth it. I've suggested that pretty much in my videos, that I don't think they're worth the performance games for me when I tried them. And even when I tried other brands, let's not just focus only on this one. You know, PXG do the same and other companies have done the same as well. People have been listening in the comments. Let me know. Let's use 4 in your comments. Let's use common sense. I think I've made some really good points there today, and hopefully it'll inspire you to hopefully hit that comment section up with some good responses. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all soon. Thumbs up the videos always, subscribe. It's been a long day. I'm quite tired today. You might have noticed from the vlog because it's so hot. Kids aren't sleeping that well. They came in, they woke me up a couple of times. I need a good night's sleep tonight. Oh, let's not look at these. Let's not look at these, kids.